don't underestimate who's watching you go through this journey. I know many people have said to me, you know, oh, I saw you do this and I saw you do that, and that inspired me to do that. Everything you do is under a microscope in the best possible way. So, you know, we keep things positive and keep it growing. We're just going to grow more of that. And then that just branches out and we just grow it out. Get rid of all that negative rot.
It is.
We don't need
so
it.
Tell me, how did you go from being a baker to a candlestick maker? No, I'm just joking. To being Shamanic Angel.
Yeah, well, that's happened actually in the last 3 to 4 years. I parted way with my husband, and I started to notice a change in me energetically. I mean, I've always had a really strong interest in anything spiritually like that. And I used to see shadows and different things, but because it was a narcissistic relationship, I was very depleted. I was seeing things, but there wasn't much more going on inside me. So, because once I cut my ties from that negative draining, things started to elevate, and I noticed a lot of change within me. Anyway, my current Reiki master, she had a night class. It was called Psychic 101, and I'm like, I love all this stuff. I'm going to go and have a go and just see what it's all about. And it was just this broad range of all different sort of spiritual type gifts. And that sort of started the whole thing. And then my Reiki master sort of said to me, well, I'm going to be doing a Reiki 1 session. Are you interested? And I'm like, yeah, I'm so into this. I've got to do this. And it sort of grew from there. So I did then, I've been doing the levels of Reiki from there. And as I did more of this, and then I started meditating and all these sort of things, it's just these things just started to grow. And then you start, spirit starts leading you to people, to other types of learnings and just like-minded people. What you're putting out starts to just coming back into you. And it's just exploded from there. I think in the 3 years, just how much I've learned and how much I've grown. And I can look at a photo of myself 4 years. Actually now found who I am, not me being someone else. This is actually me, 100%. I feel very grateful for that.
So important, reconnecting to your inner knowingness.
Yes, yeah. It's
really,
when you're living in narcissistic relationships, you're living somebody else's life, but you don't even realize it. That's the thing with it. But once you realize who you are, and you go, whoa, hang on, now I'm liking this person.
Well, because you've got
to live yourself authentic.
Well, you're living in fear all the time, aren't you? And fear is not a high vibration.
It's not good. Yeah. So
I think people are struggling to hear it, but we will keep pushing through because Spirit will give us a break shortly, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's my bandwidth here at the moment. It's saying it's low, but I'm in a unit. There's lots of units around here, and it's just that time of the night, I guess.
Yeah, I know. That's why I tried to get on a bit early, but that's we do. I mean, that's what, as I said, that's why I haven't gone back to my Wednesday night lives yet, because it's just not
in and out.
Yeah, my apologies.
Been a little bugger.
Hello, Maria. Hello, Natalie Cohen. Hello, Claudia from Darwin. Hello, Kerry Davies. I hope you're all going fabulous. Big shout out to you all. I thought I'd do that while we're having problems with the internet. Surprise, surprise. Of an evening. This is just what it's like, isn't it? Which is a real shame.
A bit of trouble on this side.
Yes.
Cutting in and out. It's being a naughty one.
Sorry about that, Nick.
I think it's my side, Sharon. It's not your side.
So sorry about that, guys. Please bear with us. Bear with us. We are pushing through this internet vibration. We've got spirit onto it. We've got our collective group onto it. I can start doing some light language and then we might get it to work, huh? That does some healing. But no, I won't freak struggling a little bit to hear me. Can you hear me okay?
It's very faint. It's very faint, but yeah, I can just hear you.
Oh, good. Okay. So
It keeps cutting in and out.
I know you keep cutting in and out for us, which is a bit of a bugger too.
Yeah.
That's okay. We can push through on this. You know, hopefully, I know that a lot of people have dropped off because I think they've got on and the connection's really bad. But that's okay. We will keep pushing through. We've got our own hero's journey. You know, and there is people hanging in there. So thank you to those who are doing that. So tell me more. So you know, you started off with your spiritual development class. When I was in Darwin, you came up and had workshops with me, and it's just blossomed from there. And then now you're a regular on this show on just the Intuitive Souls page.
Yeah.
You're doing professional readings now. It's just awesome. And isn't it? This is really one thing that I want to really say with the spiritual stuff that's happening now. In the old stuff, because I did a lot of my training, there was no internet. When I first started, the internet was just starting to come out. So this stuff was not available on the internet. And I had to actually go to face-to-face workshops, which were great because I met lots of people. In saying that, there's a lot of people I probably wouldn't have even known that I met them. But I was on my own journey as well because my dad had just died, and well, he just passed, and he kept coming to me, and so I was on a journey of trying to find out that there was something more. I knew there was something more, and I didn't understand, and I didn't know what it was, and I'd had lots of experiences as a kid, and I was scared of the dark. I was petrified of the dark, and from there, my knowledge and skill and my awareness and awakening occurred, where I started to tap into my inner knowingness. And I think that's one of the first things that you do, isn't it? You actually start to listen to yourself. You start to connect with your inner soul and your inner knowingness and going, hang on, there's something more. And from there, you're able to actually look at that and go, where to from here? And I remember I often used to say, even back then, over 26 years ago, I would say, take me where I need to go now. Bring me who I need in my life to learn this or learn that. And it was really quite interesting. I've had some very good mentors in my life, and some of them have come into my life and left, and some of them come in and out, and you will find that happens. But at this time, the universal energy is moving so fast, so fast. It might have taken me 20 years to become a professional psychic medium. It's taken you 3. And I think that's really important to understand for people out there. The universal energy is moving at a rate that is just the speed of light. Who can believe that we're nearly in June?
Yeah, it's crazy. I can feel things happening rapidly for me at the moment too. Like I was talking to Haley last night for Lotus Rising.
Yeah, I didn't get there, damn it.
The new moon ceremony. I'm getting a lot of body sensations. There's all this energy going through me, and it's like something I've never ever felt before. But I actually wake up every morning like I've done a round in the boxing ring. Like I feel physically bashed in a nice way. Like it's not horrendous and unbearable, but I'm very aware of it. And even at work, like that can be a challenge. Working in an office when you've got people coming up to you as an EA, they come up to you a lot. You'll be talking to them, and next minute I get a lot of energies out of my outer peripheral vision, and like I'll be looking at them. Next minute my eyes will go up somewhere else, and they're like looking at me. It's like, are you listening to me or not? Like, what are you doing? I go, I'm sorry. For the open-minded, I'll say, well, there's a cluster of orbs just above us here. To me, it's like a bunch of fireflies, drunk fireflies, I guess would be the best way. Just this high energy cluster of lights all around, or I'll get dark shadows, or as an empath too, and one of my gifts is clairsentience. I feel at work like my vocal cords will shut down, and I've I've seen that happen when we've been in your workshops. That has happened to me quite regularly. Or I start to just feel sensations that people are having in the office, and that's been a challenge in itself. I've had to learn to protect my area. I have crystals, and I call upon the archangels every morning to protect me. I imagine a crystal cave. I'm in there, sort of, it's safe. And yeah, because I also, when people don't even realize that when they come up to me, if they're having issues, that their body will just instinctively start to tap into me. And that was something I wasn't originally aware of. It's something I've become aware of, and now I can protect myself and prepare myself every day. And I do have to prepare myself every day.
Yes.
Yeah, I've literally had people leaning over my desk because I'm trying to create that boundary with them, and it's like, I guess I liken it like, you've got, imagine this, the neighbour's kid is looking in your backyard and you've got this bag of lollies sitting in the middle of the backyard, and it's like they're trying to lean over that fence to get that good bag of lollies. That's how people sort of come over my petition. It's like, I want some of that good energy. So
you really have to put some boundaries around that
itself as well. Yeah.
You have to put some boundaries around that, and that's why you're not sleeping well, and that's why everybody, because, you know, look, energy stealers are everywhere, and 90% of the time they don't even realise they're an energy stealer.
No, they don't. And that's why, like, you can't sort of get cranky with them because they don't even realise it. But yes, it's the boundaries you've got with, you know, the human race. You know, 2 nights ago, I had somebody turn my clock radio on. They just decided right at midnight, that's like, let's turn it on and wake her up. And then, because then I'm awake for the rest of the night.
And see, that's because you're like a big shining beacon into the universe. And so they're coming to you. They're coming to you going, woohoo, here's someone that'll take notice of us. And so you really are going to have to put them in their place. Like, some people don't like to. I know some people don't. They would say to me, no, Sharon, I'm not putting them in their place. That's what I want. I want them to come at me whenever they want. But my mentor told me to, for you to, and it's funny, you see a lot of spiritualists that actually have really big bags under their eyes. And that is often because they're not putting boundaries in place for spirit to come to them. I actually say to them, when the light's turned on, you can come in, and when the light's not, you are not. You're not to bother me. It's my time for me. And so that was a really simple thing that my mentor actually taught me, Nick. And it was a matter where I felt myself turning a light on and off.
Yeah.
And even before, when I was first doing professional readings, or actually when I was even doing readings in general, I would literally see myself an hour before turn that light on and say, guys, I've got this person coming in. And I still do this to a certain degree now. I'll say, okay, and often I'll tune into my clients for the day in the shower, because that's where I'm really energetically charged underwater. I'm an Aquarian, so the water for me really energetically charges me. And I will tap into, okay, I've got such and such, I've got such and such, I've got such and such, and I've got such and such today. Okay, bring in and I will actually pick up for something from all of those. But I definitely put boundaries around each of those. Anyone that is coming in, I'm open to work with whoever. Whoever is working in the light, I will work in the light. But I definitely put those boundaries around.
Yeah, and so, I mean, this is something I'm still learning, because it's all new to me, and it's coming pretty hard and fast. And yeah, it's very important, because I've got to go to work and have a full day where I've got a boss that wants me switched on and wants me, you know, yeah, what's this, what's that, and then the others are coming to like, hey, what's this, what's it, and it's like, I don't know.
Yeah,
it is important. Sleep is important. That's how you repair.
And I'm not saying don't dream or don't do all those other things, but just say, guys, and look, you know, the law of spirit is that they have to respect you regardless. That's the law of spirit. If you don't want them in your space, you have a right to tell them you don't want them in your space.
Yep. Yep.
And that's why a lot of people actually are frightened or don't. My sister quite often used to say to me, how come you always get that around you? I never feel him. I never sense him. She had an amazing session, I think it was a couple of weeks ago in one of our lunchtime meditation sessions, where our nan came through to her, and she'd never actually seen anyone like that before. So
I think I was in for that. Yeah.
That was a really
awesome.
big thing for her. So but that's another thing. If you're trying too hard to let this stuff in, you're going to block it as well. But because the law is they aren't allowed to come into the boundaries without your permission. And so whenever you're giving them permission by, well, basically you've opened yourself up, you're like a beacon, you're out there flashing like that lighthouse, here I am, come get me, and so they're gonna.
Yeah.
Until you say, no, that's enough, not acceptable. Just like you would not let your child have a tantrum in the supermarket or whatever, just anything like that. You would put the boundaries in place. It's no different. It's just like you wouldn't let your boss, there's certain things you wouldn't let your boss do. You put boundaries in place with him. It's no different to that. And it's as simple as sitting there having a bit of a ceremony with yourself and have a bit of a yarn to them and just say, look, guys, this is not working for us. I really want to work with you. I love working with you. But you need to come in at times that are going to work for both of us.
Yeah. And so, it's been a process, I guess, because I first had to set boundaries for mankind on this earth. So, now I'm at stage 2, setting boundaries for the next level.
Look, I've been working we're all spirit. We all have this stuff. It's just a matter of awakening it. We're waking it up. And that's what I said to you. I'm learning light language at the moment. That's something we all have. I'm just waking it up. You've woken up your spiritual ability. And now you're all polishing it and polishing it. You're amazing. You're what you've done in such a short time just totally blows my mind, and it just excites the hell out of me because, apart from being such a beautiful soul, you are really open to all of this, which is why you've just gone full pelt.
Yeah.
But you also have to look after yourself as well. Yeah.
It's all part of the journey at the moment.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. And don't beat yourself up. Just enjoy the ride.
Yeah. Oh, I get. It's very exciting, and it's every day. You don't know what you're going to get, so every day is an exciting, and it's a brand new day. So. Yeah.
So for people out there that are just starting out on this spiritual journey, have you got any tips for them? Like, is there anything you'd sort of say? Listen to yourself, or what would you reckon, given that, 3 years ago, you're in a very amazing place in 3 years, and I've had a number of readings from you, and I get many cards from you, which I'm very grateful for, and I know how accurate you are. So tell me, what kicked you off?
I think the first thing I would say is trust what comes through. As you know, I've struggled with that, but believe what you're getting is absolutely 100% real. Don't let your head be the judge, let your heart be the judge.
So true. Oh my God. Yes, listen to your heart, not your head.
Because your head will get in the way.
Yes,
it's a little bugger.
The head's where the ego hangs out.
Like, no, there's something logical. That can't. No, no. It's like, yes.
Right on.
Yes. Yeah. So that definitely, and probably more importantly to start with initially, and everyone just in general should always do this anyway, self-care. Because in this line of work, if you are not at your full premium peak self, you do not have the capabilities to help somebody else get into their full premium peak self. That's just the reality in life in general. So that's probably, I'd put that actually at the top of the list. And I guess the other thing too, apart from the trust, is have patience in the process, because when this starts rolling out, And I've done it. You get a bit excited and you're like, oh, what's next? What's next? What's next? And Spirit's going, whoa, he's got the reins on there. It's like, slow it down. So you've got to learn one bit at a time. I've experienced, I did healing once with some Reiki sisters, and I got a tad excited, and I elevated to a place beyond my humanly body. And it was like having a sugar rush. It was, I got hot and I got clammy. I started to feel light in the head and didn't feel well, and I thought I was actually going to physically pass out. And I've had some experiences with that, going to places like cemeteries and things, going for historical tours and stuff. So, yeah, you've got to take it steady, protect yourself. Find those ways of how to protect yourself. For me, I use crystals, and I call upon the archangels, but everybody's different.
Yes, well, I meditate. Meditate is just my go-to tool. It just it grounds me every single time. I meditate morning and night.
Yep.
I meditate a lot during the day too. So, I mean, I'm fortunate enough to be able to, and I do that in between clients wherever I can.
Yeah, well, meditation in general, I think for people just generally, like even people I work with or friends and that, I recommend it all the time, because it doesn't matter what situation you're in. There's a meditation for everything. Like you can get on YouTube, there's nothing you can't meditate. It's just
exactly.
It doesn't exist. Like it's not.
I agree. You can meditate weight loss. You can meditate stress. You can meditate stress relief. I should say. We don't want stress. You can meditate anxiety. You can meditate depression. It is there. Go and find a meditation that works for you. Meditate a new job. Manifest a new job. Meditate for manifestation.
Yep.
It's there.
Yep. 100%. There's really so much I've learned, just as I said, in the short time, and I guess nothing to meditation. Then also intention. Set your intentions, but actually believe in what you set. That's so important. You can see behind me, I have my vision board, which Sharon's done a vision board workshop. That whether you do it as a vision board or whether you write it down in a journal, whatever it is,
makes no difference.
You put it down, but you also have to believe in it. And I always say to people, if you want to just to dip your toes, so to speak, go to a car park when you're going to go shopping, and go in with the intention of actually getting a car park in a busy car parking space, and you will shock yourself. It happens every time.
Yes. I call that the car park fairy.
Yeah, never lets you down.
That's my car park fairy.
Yep, 100%. I've had people, even my dad, and he was like, I said, go and do it. He's coming visiting. I said, go and do it. Okay, yeah, rightio. So they went and did, and they went, come home. They're like, it happened. I was like, yeah, because you intended it to happen.
That's right. I know. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, there's so much out there to learn and grow from, and it's so beneficial to you. And as you grab onto these portions of learning, you look back one day, like I said, just even now, just looking back in 3 years, which is a short span of my whole 53, it's phenomenal. And it's all positive, and that's the beautiful thing of it. And it doesn't matter. You don't have to be a spiritual person to have all this happen to you. Anybody in any game of any description can have this. This is everybody can have it.
Yes.
There's no rules.
and when you're saying have it, you're talking about the bliss, aren't you? The
total bliss. Yeah. I feel every day. I mean, yes, there's moments in time where life lessons or challenges will try and pull me down, but I just come back up again. Like I always, I say to people, like, think of yourself, you're on a ladder. So every time you create this bliss and elevate your vibrations, think of yourself going up a ladder.
Yes.
Going up a ladder. So you think, right, okay, I'm up the ladder. And then you've got these people that are happy to be in that lower vibration. They're on the ground. They can't step onto the ladder because they won't allow themselves to elevate. So they're on the ground looking at you up the ladder. They're trying to reach for you up the ladder, but they can't because they don't know how to get to that. vibration. So you're not going to have those sort of people in your life because they actually can't get to you. That's a really strong thing I learned over the narcissistic relationships that I lived all these lives. They don't even come anywhere near you. One thing I've learned, I am surrounded by the most beautiful, loving people. And the ones that aren't and that are not ready to do that, you lovingly let them go.
They just drop away as well, don't they? They just drop away.
They're not, there's no attraction. There's no, that law of attraction.
Yes.
What
they
you
just
put
drop
out, you
away.
get back. Yes, it's 100% true. And they won't come in near you.
No.
You're not interested in them because they're not relate. They can't relate to you. It's like,
Yep.
that good positive light.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I always laugh and call it scuttering around with the cockroaches. Where do you want your energy to be? You know, and as we know, both you and I, because we do both vibrate at a very high level. We know that if we do have a bit of a crappy time, it's very easy to pull ourselves back up because our vibration is already high, and it's and usually if it drops back, it doesn't drop back that far. I know everybody's been going through a lot, you know, especially people that have been through the fires and now through COVID-19.
Yeah.
And a lot of people around me are going, blah, 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 blah. But there's also a lot of people that are saying, I'm actually really fine with this. And that's my response as well. I'm actually really fine with this. I'm sorry about all the people that have been affected or lost lives or all that sort of stuff. Or lost businesses, you know, because people have lost businesses. That's all very real as well. Or lost jobs. But for me personally, it has been an amazing journey. I'm just, like as I mentioned to you before, this morning I was, you know, the snow's coming and I was out digging a heap of weeds out of a garden, mucking around with the chooks and the dogs and just you know, grounding myself.
Enjoying the now.
Yes. And if you asked me what I was thinking about, I actually couldn't tell you. I have no idea.
Yeah.
What I was thinking about that whole time.
A change of like your perspective is so important too. Like it's how you perceive things too. I mean, we could both look at something and we could perceive it totally different. It doesn't mean either of us are wrong in what it actually is. It's just it's our perception, and the perception is another powerful thing like intent. That, you know, you can look at life and you look at a situation and go, oh my God, like that just makes me feel like crap. Or like, oh my God, I learned from that. I'm never letting that happen to me again. Like it's such a powerful, so many powerful tools out there that we just don't always use. It's like we need to use them. And once you learn it and grow it, share it with people that are not aware of it, because not everyone is aware of it. We can't assume we all know everything, because we don't. But yeah, share it. Just domino effect, all this stuff.
I know,
Yeah.
I totally agree. Share
Amazing.
what you know, because the more people that, well, to me, we all should be living this bliss. We all should be happy. We all should be embracing our life to the fullest. We all should be walking the journey that best aligns to us.
Exactly.
And whatever I can do to help people get on that journey, that's absolutely what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, you look at life and you said there's bumps in the road. If we didn't have bumps in the road, we'd never actually grow, because we wouldn't never learn. And just, look at those bumps as, you know, you might get a bigger bump of the same bump down the road and you go, yeah, I felt that bump back there. I know actually how to navigate that bump now. It's a very empowering thing to be able to do that. You just don't realize it till you get to that point. And you'll reflect back and you go, oh God, I'm so glad I actually came across that bump, because otherwise this bump would have been just too much.
It would have dropped me way back, but now.
Yeah. So just take every challenge in life. Don't even call it a negative experience. Call it a challenge. Well, I've said I prefer to call it a life lesson. I don't think that's anything negative about that then, because then that keeps your perspective on a positive track too. And those bits and pieces that you learn along the way, trust me, 100%, are not only to your benefit, but to those that are your nearest and dearest around you as well.
Absolutely.
And anybody that comes into your life into the future. 100%.
I totally agree, Nick. I absolutely couldn't agree with you more. And, it's really important that we look back on those experiences, because they are making us a different person for the future on the rest of our journey. You know, I rattle on about this all the time. It's how we react. It's our thoughts around that, and it's how we act in lots of different situations. You know, if you react badly, well, the outcome's going to be bad for you.
Yeah.
But if you try and pull, even when we lose a loved one, that is horrific.
Yes.
But isn't it wonderful to know that we've actually loved somebody so deeply to feel so sad to lose them?
That's exactly right. Not everyone has that, experience. Like I lost my brother when he was 18 years old. I was 25. And I remember at the time I was just absolutely devastated. But the love I have for him is as strong now as it was back then. And now he drops in and he's a real bugger because he's become quite outgoing on the other side. And he's pushing me with what I'm doing right now. He's like, if you don't do it, and he said, I'm going to come and poke you. I was like, yep. Oh, I thought I was the older one here, but anyway, okay, we'll do that.
Yeah. No, it's great, and that's what you have to follow, isn't it? You have to listen to those messages. You have to be aware of those messages. You have to be mindful of what else is around you.
Listen to your body. Yeah, you got to listen to your body. Full stop.
Yes.
And especially, like you can say health matters, but just check in on yourself and just emotionally and how you're dealing with things, how you deal with things. Then that can reflect back on you with others. Like I've said in some of my readings and things. If you're not feeling like you have that self-worth, then how can you expect others to feel the same way about you? What you put out there is exactly how people are going to feel about you. And that's, I'm still learning it now. I think we constantly we'll have little slips and slides, but I think ultimately, as long as you've still got that progression forward, and it's no race to get to the end, and I don't think there is an end anyway. Just got to keep going. And as you keep going, those around you will keep going with you. Instead, some come, some go. This is this whole family. We're all here to teach each other something, and it's a two-way street on that as well. And if they stay forever, they stay forever. If they don't, enjoy that moment as it is for that amount of time, and get excited about what's coming along next.
Look, you're spot on, Nick. You absolutely are. I totally agree with everything you're saying, and it's really important that you really do tap into your inner knowing and respect that.
Yeah,
absolutely respect it.
Just think of your life on that Dorothy, like the Wizard of Oz. She was on that yellow brick road. She didn't at any point in time imagine she was going to meet a scarecrow and a tin man and a lion and munchkins and witches and flying monkeys and all that sort of stuff. But at the end, she ended up home. Basically, she found herself at the end.
And all she had to do was tap her feet.
That's it.
Everything.
Those gorgeous red slippers.
Everything is within us.
Yes.
We go on this external journey of trying to bring I just laugh about, I was listening to something today where it said, here we are especially someone that's in the corporate world, all we're doing is trying to, I remember I started in, at a lower level, and my ambition was to be up here, and eventually I got to a certain height and I went, actually, this is not what I expected it to be, and I took a step back. And then eventually when I retired from there, I took it, I was still as an executive, but I was not a senior executive. And I just look back on how I just couldn't be at that level fast enough. And yet when I look at all that now, because I'm so grateful because of all the skills that I learned there has allowed me to do what I'm doing now.
Of course.
But as we know, also what we do find from our journeys, we quickly learn what we don't want.
Yeah. And as I say, it's not the end of the journey that counts, it's actually the journey that counts.
Yep.
And
Yep.
as far as I'm concerned, they said there is no end game in it anyway.
No, the infinity. That's exactly right. It's the infinity, which is why I said I cope with the fact that when people pass, I know, and we're both lucky enough because we are mediums, that we do know that they haven't. I was chatting to someone the other day. Wendy. I think it was last week.
Yeah.
And I loved her analogy around you just letting them go to first class because we're in economy.
Yes, exactly. Yep, absolutely, 100%. Yeah. They're at peace. They're not feeling any pain. They don't have to worry about when their bills are going to be paid. Like, we're the ones left with all that stuff. They're not. They're looking down going, what are you doing?
Yep, absolutely. So tell us a bit more how you connected with your cards and with for the audience out there. You're great at cards. You do good readings with cards. What else do you actually do? You're a Reiki. You do Reiki?
Yes. So that's where it all started. Was I've done 2 levels of Reiki. I'm actually just about to complete, and I'll be a master with Reiki very soon.
Well done.
That's been amazing as well. And that's where I guess I got to sort of really learn to listen to my body and connect with my body. And that's where then I started tapping into other people's bodies as well. So that's a really interesting thing. But I mean, internally in me, I have this huge inner desire to help people and nurture people, and all these skills that I'm learning with energy healing and with like the cards, it's intuitive. And even with the Reiki, even though I've learned Reiki as such, I have to say in all honesty, it doesn't feel like Reiki to me as such. I actually get my energy from the archangels, and I also are connected to the Native Americans with the shaman. So I feel like I'm the middleman where heaven meets earth. And so to me, it doesn't feel like traditional Reiki as such. Very much everything I do is intuitive. If you were to ask me exactly how it works, I actually can't tell you. Like, I can get a card and I'll look at a card and I'll go, okay, well, I'll hear light messages and I'll see pictures, but it's almost more so my messages come through feeling. I get the messages, they come inside my head. It's a weird thing to try and explain, but it's all very intuitive. I mean, everybody's got intuition. It's just a matter of growing it. And I mean, intuition is really great just as a normal life tool. Just, I always say, it's your best friend and will never, ever lie to you. And so I trust it. And I just feel constantly, I'm like a kid in a candy store at the moment. There's so many things, and because you do lots of learning as well. There are so many facets to the spiritual realm. It's like, where do I go next? What am I going to do now? It's just constant learning. And so, which is exciting too, it keeps you highly stimulated. And the beauty of all this work that we learn, as anybody in any sort of field of any description, is somebody benefits from it. So it's something, it's a life with purpose. And for me, I wanted my life to be full of purpose, as we all do. So I'm learning that I do lightly do tarot, but I'm actually more comfortable with oracle cards.
The same. I
Yeah.
love Hayley. That's why when I
Yeah.
do sessions with Hayley, I say, give me a tarot. Because I can't.
Me too.
It's not true. I can't. It's not that I can't do tarot. I just don't align to tarot.
It's a comfort, is it's like a little puzzle piece of what fits with you, because we've all got our own little gifts.
Yes.
And it's our own little kit, I guess, our own little spiritual kit, a little
Own tools. That's right.
little doctor's bag, so to
But
speak.
as we know, don't we? Like, you know, it's
Yeah.
no different to being in the workplace. You know, you have some people that are the IT people, you have some people who are the business people, you have some people who are the administrative people. You know, we've got to have the bosses. You've got to have everybody that has a different skill and a different ability to bring to the table. Otherwise, it would be a pretty sad old boring world, wouldn't it?
Exactly. And it said with everything that's in the world, we need something for everyone anyway. So as I said, you know, people say, yeah, why are you handing this over to someone else? As you know, it's because you need to have the person needs to have what's best fit for them. And we're not one size fits all. Well, spirit will draw you to your best fit, as we all are as spiritual people ourselves. We get drawn to each other. And they said, that's my soul family. And the people watching and all the groups that we're on, like, that's my soul family. And that's a really empowering thing in itself too, is yes, we're born with a family, but we also get to choose a family. And that's so beautiful, and we're so lucky to be able to do that as human beings across the nation.
Absolutely